Hello, my name is Tracy Lawson Jr., and this is my SOR presentation, or my Science of Reading presentation. First, let's look at the intro to the presentation. The science of reading is basically a theory that helps build strong readers. It involves 4 different theories that help best figure out a way to accomplish the task of building strong readers and basically gaining knowledge on how readers' comprehension. So let's take a look at what is the science of reading. According to the Step Success article, the science of reading is a research-supported representation of how development in reading comprehension goes forward between years of age, different background knowledge, literacy knowledges. The science of reading, or SOR for short, is split into 2 components: word recognition and language comprehension. So between word recognition and language comprehension, those together build a strong reading comprehension. So without one or the other, then you have a weakened reading comprehension, which will allow the reader to suffer. Starting with Erie's phases. So Erie's phase is broken up into 4 phases. You have the pre-alphabetic phase, the partial alphabetic phase, the full alphabetic phase, and the consolidated alphabetic phase. First, with the pre-alphabetic phase. This is any knowledge prior to any alphabetic knowledge. So this is before you start becoming into the alphabetics phases. This is like when you first are learning your sounds, you're more learning from memory, or you might see some words, you might remember a few sounds in it and try to put it together. Next is the partial alphabetic phase. Reading some letters in the words of and making pronunciations. So this is, okay, you're starting to get some of your knowledge, but now you still need a little help with making pronunciations. You're recognizing the words, but you're trying to sound it out. The first and the last letter of the word is very important in this stage. The third one is your full alphabetic phase. In this phase, you achieve more accuracy and recognition. Now you know your alphabets. You're starting to learn your words. You're starting to be able to put them together. And basically now you're being able to achieve recognition of the word or the letter sounds in each phase. Consolidated alphabetic phase. Basically, this phase is helping you reduce memory load, because now you're being able to put words together. You'll be able to recognize sounds and letters, recognize making pronunciations, and this helps reduce the memory load and reduce the stress. And this was reported by John R. Beach in 2005. The next phase is the phonological processor. Well, the 4-part processor, and the first phase of that is the phonological processor. This processor perceives, remember, interpret, and provides speech sound system. Basically, this is the part of the brain that tells you what to remember, how you perceive something, how you interpret it, and how you send it back to someone. This is like talking, memorizing a letter list, or just anything that you perceive and you can remember and you can give back to somebody. Then you have the orthographic processor, which is in another part of your brain. This is how you receive visual input from printed words. So when you see a word, then your orthographic processor starts to receive it visually and starts to put it in words where you can understand it and try to break it down. The meaning processor. The meaning processor interprets meanings of words in and out. So basically it helps define which words to use and why you use that word. So it can help you figure out which words best fit in the situation. Another thing, part of the meaning processor would be the context processor, which its primary job is to interact / provide support for the meaning processor. Once again, this context processor helps the meaning processor determine which words is best used when trying to determine a sentence or trying to find out which vocabulary goes best with that sentence. The third theory, The Scarborough's reading rope. Scarborough's reading rope has two strands, the word recognition strand and the language comprehension strand. The word recognition strand consists of the phonological awareness, decoding, and sight recognition, while the language comprehension strand has the background knowledge, vocabulary, language structure, verbal reasoning, and literacy knowledge. The two strands are woven together, making for a skilled reader. Without one, like I said earlier, without one component of the strand, then the other one is not as effective. If you don't have both strands woven together, then you don't have a skilled reader. But when both strands are strong and woven together, that's where the skilled reader comes in. That's when you know your reader has a full grasp of the knowledge or the meaning of what he or she is reading. And this was founded by Scarborough's reading rope, a groundbreaking infographic retrieved from the dyslexia.org. And then you have the theory of the simple view of reading. The simple view of reading had two basic components, like I said earlier, decoding and language comprehension. Decoding is breaking down information and processing it. The language comprehension is what you understand from the language of maybe how you receive it or what you get out of what is being said. And like I said earlier, without one component, reading comprehension will suffer. You have to have both to become a strong reader. This is basically the simplest way to build upon a strong reader. Phonics. Phonics is something that's used to help connect letters to their sound. This is something that should be taught at a young age because it helps boost the knowledge of how to read, what you're reading, the letters you're seeing that helps make the sound. Teaching has moved from letter sound correspondent to grapheme, syllables, and morphemes. This is basically saying that phonics are being taught more and that it helps use the letters to make sounds. Fluency. Fluency basically is the ability to speak properly or fluently without making mistakes. People are not natural readers. They must learn how to read. And so with practice, the more you read, the more fluent you'll become, which you'll be able to read and say what you're reading and understand it as well. The only proper way to do this is to practice. Readers are not made overnight, so therefore you have to continue to practice and continue to work on what you are reading. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is something you will see throughout your life. You will notice that vocabulary is in every book you read, every magazine, on TV, on video games. No matter where you're at, you will hear vocabulary words. Vocabulary will always expand the mind. It helps you connect meaning to spelling patterns of words that can be critical to expand a student's vocabulary. Basically, that's saying that when you use vocabulary words, then you have a better chance of expanding your knowledge. Code emphasis versus meaning emphasis. Code emphasis are the letters chosen by the teacher. It's like a code or a sequence of words that are chosen by a teacher that you understand. And then the meaning emphasis are words that just appear in the text often. They can be in different texts, text you read. It's just different things show different meanings, and the words are just different. Orthographic mapping. This is the process of forming letter-sound connections. They spell words aloud for memory, and you learn to identify patterns. Conclusion. In conclusion, the process of all the models allow for a better way to build skilled readers. The science of reading is a simple way to determine how reading comprehension is effective. Understanding fluency, phonics, phonological awareness, and vocabulary can help you become a strong reader. Remember, really it's all about practice. All about practicing what you read and understanding better. That way you become a fluent reader. And these are my site resources. Thank you.